presentation with Trixie, and it's entitled Attracted by the Light.
Hey, did you hear about the firefly?
The firefly?
Yeah, he backed up into a sand, and he was delighted no end.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Anyway, I saw something strange the other day, and I was wondering about it.
Well, what was that?
Well, there was a moth flying around my room ceiling light, and he kept dumping his head onto the light. And he kept doing this over and over and over, and I was wondering why.
Well, moths are attracted to the light, and when they bang their heads on it, they actually think they're going to get inside the light.
So they died trying, right?
What do you mean by that?
Well, remember when you cleaned out the light a couple months ago? We found all kinds of dead bugs and moths and stuff.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Excuse me. They're attracted by the light, and it's very deadly for them. And when they try to bump their heads and get into that light, it kills them.
That's kind of dumb, isn't it? Thinking that something is so bad and bad for them, and yet they go ahead and do it anyway.
Well, moths and bugs are not the only dumb things that do things like that. It reminds me of people who want to get bad things into their lives, and they get hurt because they finally get them after working so hard.
Well, how do we keep ourselves from hurting ourselves like those foolish moths?
Well, those moths were being fooled by the light. Just in the same way, the devil tries to fool us by a false light. And he makes things look good, and he makes things look wise, but then we get fooled into thinking we're making right decisions, when all the time it's not good at all. His light is darkness rather than real light.
Well, how do we find the right light so we can make right decisions?
Oh, Trixie, you know that for sure. In John 8:12, it tells us that Jesus is the light of the world. And he says of himself, I am the light of the world. He that follows me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. And he who follows in darkness gets into all kinds of trouble.
So, if someone asks Jesus to come into their life and take control, it's like Jesus walking into the room and turning on all the lights, right?
That's a good way of looking at it, that's for sure. And in Colossians 1:13, the Bible tells us that God, when we ask Jesus into our heart, God takes us out of the kingdom of the devil's darkness and puts us into the kingdom of his Son, which is pure light.
So if we want to get out of the dark and live in the light and have the right way of thinking, we should give ourselves to Jesus.
Absolutely.
The whole world was lost in the darkness of sin. The light of the world is Jesus. Like sunshine at noonday, his glory shone in. The light of the world is Jesus. Come to the light, 'tis shining for thee. Sweetly the light has dawned upon me. Once I was blind, but now I can see. The light of the world is Jesus. Keep Jesus shining in your life.